Welcome to another episode of One on One, and today we have Chef Alvin Leung. Chef, so what have you been up to since you landed?
Well, obviously, I haven't been here for a while, so I wanted to, do a lot of greeting to see the new setup. They just relaunched or we redecorated. So it's my first time actually in this room and looking at what they did for both the inside and the outside. It's fantastic. I love it.
Chef Alvin, you are extremely impressive. And if I start to talk about and list all of the things you've achieved throughout your life, I would be here for a while. You're a self-made chef with Michelin-starred establishments. You are a notorious MasterChef judge, and you have so much of spunk. You have one of the best personalities in the game. In order for us to understand you better, I want to understand what you were like as a kid and growing up. So if you would indulge us, what was your childhood like?
Well, I can say, first of all, in terms of, let's put it this way, in terms of culinary, in terms of creativity, in terms of personality. So let's divide it into three, culinary, personality, and what was the last one? I forget, because I'm making this up as I go. But culinary-wise, as a child, as a kid, it was horrible. My mother is got to be classified as one of the worst cook in the world. Basically, it was instant noodles and instant noodles every day.
Wow.
So I did not have a very, I didn't have a very, what's abundance or a very full culinary experience as a kid. So I was good. It was good because, my mother was such a bad cook that I had to learn to do it myself, or else, I would eat badly. So I think that helped me. In terms of, what was I saying, in terms of creativity, well, I grew up in Toronto during the 70s. At that time, it was quite liberal. So I went to a school that was experimental, kind of the first of its kind, high school. And at that time, they were trying to, I was introduced more creativity rather than 3 R's, like, reading, arithmetic, and I forgot the last R, but we were basically, had the indulgence of being able to think for ourselves. And I think that gave me, that opened my creativity because, given the chance to use your creativity instead of, coming out of the box, instead of, a very more traditional, more regimental education, I think, gave me the confidence to go out of the box. Because, the one thing we fear most is failure. And, and I think this applies with everything in our lives.
Right.
And, if we were allowed to
fail,
the indulgence, we were allowed to fail. And from that, we learn from it. And, I always say, my policy is you never learn not to do it again. You just learn to recover better.
So how did you overcome that idea that is instilled in all of us about not taking chances because we're afraid to fail? How did you overcome that?
Well, I just have thick skin. I think, a lot of times, I don't see anything as a failure. It's part of the process. It's part of life. It's part of nature. Sometimes, failures are good. To be quite honest, everybody's talking about this new AI and we all trying to live in the perfect world. But a lot of things in life, are from accidents. Like rubber, for example, that was a failure. Polyester, that was a failure. So, without failure, we're not going to be able to, progress. Because a lot of times failure, a fluke, luck, brings on something spectacular.
That's very true. When did you realize that you had an actual career in culinary?
When I started getting paid for it.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, I think, you know, it's a career when people will start to, you know, buy it.
Right.
I mean, if you give anything away free, that's not a career.
So what were you selling at the time, or were you working in the kitchen?
I wasn't selling. I never worked in the kitchen. As I said, I never really worked in the kitchen. I never went to culinary school. So I just started my first restaurant. Okay, so I was at the top. I never started at the bottom and worked myself up. But you know, a day when I was you know, chef patron. You know, I was the owner. In 2003, I took over a restaurant, and the rest just worked out from there. I always say to people, I'm probably the product of a perfect storm. You know, the right place, the right time, the right ingredients.
What brings you joy?
I like to share. So what brings me joy is seeing whatever I do, whatever I make, brings other people happiness. Okay, that brings me joy because you know, to be quite honest, I like to see people happy. I like to see people enjoy what I do.
That's beautiful. What about what frustrates you?
I think what really frustrates me is not producing my best.
Okay.
And a lot of times, you know, my lack of concentration, my lack of patience, or whatever it is. So I get really, really frustrated if I know I'm not producing my best for whatever reason, you know, maybe a mental block or anything. And I see the same with other people. You know, I mean, okay, I'm a very tough judge in MasterChef. I'm a very tough person in the kitchen. But, you know, I only get angry when I see the effort is not, you know, it's not 100%. And, you know, if you try your best, it doesn't work, then, you know, I'm not angry because that's not your fault.
Yeah, you tried.
Okay, I think you're just you're doing something that you're not meant to do. So do something else.
So the demon chef, how did that persona come to be?
Well, it's something that I gave myself, honestly. You know, in Asia, they love to call yourself, you know, the god of something, you know, the god of gambling. That's a movie, actually. The god of kitchen, the god of whatever, okay? And yeah, to be number one, daemon, the definition of demon, daemon, comes from a Greek word, which means a playful spirit. So there's nothing sinister about it.
I want to ask you, so what do you think about the culinary landscape today?
I think today, the experience is something, I think it's a lot more casual, because I think, you know, with there's a lot more restaurants and people are more, I think the spread wealth, the distribution has become a little bit wider, so more people can afford to go to you know, these establishments, of which, you know, you do pay, you know, quite a lot of money to experience. And nowadays, I think people, rather than experience it, they just want to, you know, record it and then send it to, you know, their friends to follow her, which is great. But sometimes what I often wonder is, are they really enjoying themselves? I think the most important thing back then was for you to enjoy the experience. Okay, but now, you know,
not so important.
It doesn't matter. As long as you can show it off, as long as other people are not eating it. And I think that, to me, it does take away from it. It does take away from it, but obviously our priority in terms of presenting, you know, the goods to you, you know, it's going to be different. You know, I would have to, as I say, you always have to reinvent things. You know, reinvent the wheel. It went from one wheel to two wheels, to 3 wheels, to 4 wheels, and now you may need 6, you know. And soon you probably need none. Okay? So I think the world, because of the technology, is moving very, very quickly. People's, right now, you know, their needs are shifting very, very quickly.
Chef, have you done any changes to the menu of Demon Duck?
We have. Obviously, you know, since we are revamping the looks, we have. So rather than keeping a fixed menu, a very long menu that's fixed, which is sometimes could be difficult, okay? Because, you know, if you want to keep so many dishes on the menu, your wastage is going to increase. The bigger your menu, the more waste you're going to generate. Because there'll be times you're not going to be selling that I don't know, selling the lobster or whatever, selling that, and obviously they all have shelf life. So the menu is going to be short and concise. So based on 1.5 years of operation, I know exactly what you'd like to order. So dishes that that are rarely ordered, I removed. So make it short, but with variety. And also we are introducing what we call specials. So we a blackboard. So whatever we have that's available locally, which maybe we can get a good deal on. And I'm always economical. I'm not gonna say whatever is fresh, whatever is thing. If I can get a good deal on a certain product, why not pass it on to my customers? So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, everybody thinks if it's expensive, it's good, and when it's cheap, it's no good.
Right.
That doesn't apply to me. Okay, that doesn't apply because you always take something expensive and make it no good, and you can always take something that's not expensive and make it good. Okay, and also we do have a rotating kind of blackboard where we can create more dishes of which we can control the waste. Okay, and and allow my chef to be creative. Okay, so there may be days you may be guinea pig. Okay, and you like it, we keep it longer, or we may introduce it into our main menu. If you don't like it, then we get rid of it. At the end of the day, don't waste time.
So what's next for you, chef?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can tell you what's next to me within the hour. I can tell what's next to you within maybe a week. But what's next to me? I'm spontaneous. I'm always one of my motto is the #1 rule. There's no rule. So I'm 63. Some people say what's next for you? Okay, I don't know. I'm still healthy, body-wise. My mind is active. And the hair is real. So who knows what's next for me? If I can, maybe I'll find a third career. I started as an engineer, became a chef. So what's next? I don't know. The world, there's no limit for me. There's no limit.
Well, you look fantastic, and obviously you are very healthy. What's your secret to this? How do you keep yourself healthy, body and mind?
Photoshop.
Photoshop?
Photoshop. Get the right angle, get this angle, okay? And sometimes you go like this, that makes me, It's the angle. It's the angle.
Okay, I'm going to remember that one. So, Chef, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Before you go, I'd like to do a little fun this or that session with you.
Sure.
So I'll just give you 2 options, and then you choose what you like best. So, sweet or spicy?
Actually, neither.
Really?
Okay, I'm a diabetic.
Okay.
Okay, and I have severe heartburn.
Okay.
So that's, you gave me 2 no's.
Okay.
So I would say none of the above.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Prefer to dine alone or host a dinner party?
Host a dinner party. Definitely host a dinner party.
French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
Okay.
We're Canadian, We're Canadians,
of course.
Yeah.
This one is a bit tricky, so bear with me. Would you rather have an edible glitter coffee or a glow-in-the-dark tea?
A coffee.
A coffee? Glitter coffee.
Glitter. I don't know what do you mean by glitter
like
coffee.
Sparkles,
Something
like
sparkling
it's got
coffee.
sparkling in it.
Okay.
Or glow-in-the-dark tea.
I don't know. Glow-in-the-dark tea sounds dangerous. Okay. something that you would take before you go on one of these. They probe. They stick this probe up your. What? Okay.
So we're sticking with the coffee.
We'll stick with the coffee.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for your time,
It's been a
Chef.
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.